6:14 in the morning. The alarm goes off on the nightstand, and for about 4 seconds, nothing in the room moves. The blinds are half open. A street light outside is still burning, even though the sky has already started to gray. Your stomach bubbles. You knew you only needed 3 tacos last night, but you ate the 4th anyway. You spend 20 minutes on the throne relieving yourself from last night's bad decision. On the back of the door hangs a black cap, the brim curved from 1,000 adjustments, and under it, a jacket he's worn so often the collar has learned the shape of his neck. He reaches over, hits snooze. 9 more minutes. It costs nothing. That's the thing you have to understand about this story. Every single decision in it costs nothing. 9 minutes later, he's up. Red shirt, dark jeans, cap pulled low, keys off the counter. There's a drive-thru 11 minutes into the commute, and the coffee there is better than his. $6.41. He taps the card without looking at the screen. The woman at the window says, "Have a good one." He says, "You too." And that's the whole morning. Nothing went wrong. Nothing has gone wrong for a very long time. Here is what nobody tells you about getting stuck. You expect it to feel like a trap. A door closing. A moment where the walls come in and you finally understand that you're inside something. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like a warm car on a cold morning. It feels like a job where you already know the answers to every question anyone is going to ask you. He's been at the same company 6 years. He's good at it. Not great. Great would require something he stopped offering around year 3. 6 years is long enough that the building has a smell to him now, and the smell is neutral. And neutral is the most dangerous thing a place can be. Because you don't run from neutral. You just stay. There's a moment around 2:40 in the afternoon that repeats itself so precisely you could set a watch to it. The light through the window turns that particular yellow. He leans back in the chair he's had so long that the armrest has worn smooth in one spot the exact size of his thumb, and he thinks the thought, "I should probably do something." Then a message comes in. Then someone needs a file. Then it's 3:15, and the thought is gone, and it will come back tomorrow at 2:40 like it always does. And this will happen roughly 240 times a year. 240 small deaths of a very reasonable idea. He doesn't count them. Nobody counts them. That's why they work. Now let's talk about the money. He makes more than he did 6 years ago. If you told the version of him who started here what he'd be earning today, that guy would have laughed and said I'd be set. He is not set. He has roughly the same amount in his account on the 14th as he did 4 years ago. He's not in trouble. If you asked him, he'd say he's fine, and he'd be telling the truth. Here's where it went. The raise came in March. By April, the subscription he'd been meaning to cancel became a subscription he stopped thinking about. By June, the delivery fee became the default. By September, the payment on the newer car, because the old one had that noise, and eventually is a word that has ended more financial futures than any recession. None of these are stupid. That's what makes them lethal. Every one of them bought back a small piece of his day. 20 minutes here. A phone call he didn't have to make. He was trading money for comfort at a fair market rate. And the market rate for comfort is your entire future, paid in installments so small you never noticed the withdrawal. There's a guy I used to work with. Sat 2 desks over. Left in year 4 for a job that paid less at the start. He ran into him 8 months ago. Gas station, of all places, both of them holding coffee. And in the middle of it, the guy mentioned a closing, something about the second property, said it the way you mention weather. They shook hands, he got in his car. And he sat there in the driver's seat for a while, not turning the key, watching the numbers roll on the pump next to him. He wasn't jealous. That's the part that surprised him. He was homesick. For a version of himself he'd never actually met. Understand something. Comfort is not laziness. Comfort is a nervous system doing exactly what it was built to do. Your body was built for a world where the known cave was survival, and the unknown valley was a coin flip you might not win. Some of you might relate to this. Every instinct you have is tuned to one instruction. Stay where it's warm. That instruction saved your ancestors. It is quietly bankrupting you. Because the unknown valley doesn't kill you anymore. It pays you. The danger now is 30 years in the warm cave, while the world outside reprices everything you own. Your body cannot tell the difference between a predator and a difficult phone call, so it protects you from both. The realization when it comes does not come at 2:40 in the afternoon. It comes on a Tuesday in October, in the parking lot of an urgent care, holding a phone, looking at a number on a screen he can cover but not comfortably. His mother is inside. She's gonna be fine. She wants to have a family dinner when she gets home. That's not the part that gets him. The part that gets him is the arithmetic that runs, uninvited, in about 4 seconds. If this were worse. If this were longer. If this were both of us. And the answer arrives with the flat honesty of a bank statement. He would not be able to do it. Not because he's poor. Because he built a life that consumes exactly what it produces, he balls until he falls. And a life like that has no room in it for anyone else's emergency. He stands in that parking lot with his cap in his hand. Comfort has never once told him no, not in 6 years. And standing there, he finally understands why that felt so good and what it actually cost. You never had to fight it. That's how it won. He doesn't change everything. Nobody changes everything, and the people who tell you they did are selling something. He changes one thing. He makes the transfer automatic. Before he sees it. Before it becomes available to be reasonable about. A number small enough that he almost feels embarrassed setting it up. It doesn't matter in November. It doesn't matter in February. In the second year he raises it, because he never missed the first amount. In the third year he starts saying no to things, not because of the money, but because he's finally holding something he isn't willing to trade. For 6 years he had nothing to protect, so everything was for sale. He takes a class he doesn't need. He's bad at it for 11 weeks. He stays anyway, and somewhere in week 12, being bad at something stops feeling like a threat and starts feeling like a Tuesday. You do not escape comfort by becoming disciplined. You escape it by getting slightly better at being uncomfortable, on purpose, in small doses, until your body stops filing discomfort under danger. 6:14 in the morning. Same room, same half-open blinds, same streetlight that still hasn't figured out the sun is coming. The alarm goes off. He reaches over, and for about 4 seconds, nothing moves. Because that instinct doesn't leave, and anyone who promises you it will is lying. The warm cave still calls. It will call at 60. It will call the day he dies. But he's up before it finishes the sentence. Black cap off the door. Jacket. Keys off the counter. He passes the drive-thru at 6:31 and doesn't turn in. And it isn't about the $6. And it was never about the $6. It's that he finally learned what he was actually buying. Nobody goes broke on one morning. Nobody gets rich on one either. You just wake up one day inside the total of every small yes you never questioned. The bill for comfort always arrives. It just comes late. And it comes quietly. And it comes addressed to the person you could have been.